Honda says that the 4th generation Honda Pilot, it is the most upscale Pilot ever made. Is that true? Well, that's what we're gonna find out today. It's been a while since the Pilot received a major update. It was about time for Honda to redesign the Pilot. But it's kind of a little bit late. Why I say that? Well, right now we have the Kia Telluride, which is absolutely killing it. And then you have the Hyundai Palisade, which is another very competitive 3-row SUV. So maybe this was the right time for Honda to wait and figure out what to make and how to design the 4th generation Pilot. And I must say, they've done overall a very good job in terms of design. The rear end is not one of those design things that I like, because the way this thing is shaped, it kind of reminds me of the Chevy Traverse. Not the biggest fan, but we do get, of course, a longer wheelbase, a wider Pilot, and for today's video, we have the Black Edition. The tradition continues. Honda has used the Black Edition trim even in the other models. Let's talk about the rear end specifically. Now we have this massive Pilot letters at the back so that people behind you know this is the new Honda Pilot. You have the Black Edition badge on the right side. At the bottom we have a blacked out diffuser. We got a single exhaust on each side, but it's mostly for design purposes, not really functional. You have that chrome finish, nice touch. The tail lights are different, and I will say this, instead of those crab hand looking tail lights in the previous gen, these look far better. Now with your key in your pocket, what you do is basically this, and it automatically opens the tailgate. But they've also done something quite interesting this time. The side over here, there is a button. You press that and the car takes a few seconds. You walk away and let the magic happen. Because the vehicle has a longer wheelbase and a wider track as well, you get more space. Behind the 3rd row, you get about 22.6 cubic feet of space, which is a little bit more than you get in the Kia Telluride, which is about 21 cubic feet of space. Overall, with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd row completely folded, you're looking at about 116 or so cubic feet of space. You get way more than what the Kia Telluride offers, and you notice that once you jump into the 2nd row or the 1st row, how much more spacious this thing is. The other thing you get is extra space underneath here, which I'll show you in a minute. Why is this thing here so big? But they've also included a spare tire underneath, so in case if you get stuck somewhere, you got your spare tire. How do you unfold the 3rd row seats? Well, let me show you. It is not powered, which in some ways I kind of like it. It's faster. You have this thing over here, you pull it and then lock it completely, and if you want to fold it, you pull this again, push it forward. But let's just say the headrest is up. How do you fold the headrest? Well, you press just once and that's it, which is nice. Same thing with the other side. The only thing is that you got to reach all the way through to get this. Now look at that. So we have 3 seats in the back, and there's also a headrest over here, and then here you go. Now let's talk about the front end. How different is it to the 3rd gen? Thankfully, the new Honda Pilot's front end is not as dull as the previous generation. This is more mature, more conservative, yet a bit sporty. With the Black Edition, we have this beautiful grille at the front, blacked out. The bottom lip as well is blacked out. As a badge over here that says Black Edition, but the actual badge itself is in chrome, shockingly. They forgot that little detail. You also have these beautiful flushed design headlights. We have the daylight running lights at the bottom. This is very similar if you have watched reviews of the new CR-V. That design is pretty much in here too. It's just the grille is a bit bigger. The bottom part, we have the grille as well here for the air. The wheels for this package are 20-inch blacked out wheels. Nice touch overall, especially with the white paint on the exterior. To get into the 3rd row, well, you have a few options. First, you can do it from the back side, or on the front here, there's a button, you press that, and it folds and moves forwards. I wish they would have had a way of getting this thing like into a sandwich mode so that it kind of folds completely, but we can't do that. But let's try and get into the 3rd row. This is the part that I hate about my job, getting into the third row, because I'm 6'2", but I'm gonna do it for you guys. Hopefully it's not that bad. Okay, headroom, not bad. I can get enough space. Actually, this is not bad at all. And if you come closer to this side, this is actually not bad. And one thing I love about this, the fact that the windows on the side here are huge. Very, very important for the third row. We have USB ports here, one on the side here. There is also one over into this side. We got the air vents. And one thing I noticed with this thing, so many cup holders and pockets to put stuff. I like that, because at the end of the day, it is a family SUV. We got 2 here, 2 on that side. Let's see if there's a child seat here. Yep, and there is 1 child seat on the left side. And yeah, there's only 1. So only this part over here has the child seat locks. That again is very important too. So you can only put 1 side, which is the right side. I like this. It's easy to get into the third row. It's not that bad. Let's put the seat. And the space is not bad too. This is roomy. I remember the Kia Telluride was very rough getting into the third row. This, on the other hand, this is nice. It's spacious. Look at how much headroom I have in here. Like, that easy is like the size of my phone. Really nice. We got a light here, a light there. Let me try to get out. Press that button, that's powered. Goes pretty quick. And here we go. Okay, not bad. Didn't rip my pants. Okay. That wasn't that hard. That was not that hard. Now, into the second row. Overall, you get 7 or 8 seats. In this case, we have 8 seats. So you got 3 in the back, 3 here, and 2 in the front. I know you're looking at me, you're like, I don't see that, man. What are you talking about? So that is the third seat here in the front. But I'm gonna show you something that's gonna blow your mind. Just wait here for a second, hold on. Maybe you didn't know this, but this beauty has something very cool. Let's just say you need more space here. So what do? Well, you can't take the seats out completely. You'd think, right? Let me show you something. Here we go. So you have the seat belts in here. So how do you remove this? Well, I found an easy way to do that. You use this part over here, and then you just slide it onto the side. There's a little key in here. You just slide that, and then it comes out and goes all the way there. But I haven't finished, so let's go to the back. Now that you have removed everything, what do you do with this? Well, Honda's thought about everything. The way you install this into that spot over there is that the cup holders are on the left side. So you take this and you slide it inside. Now it's fully locked in, and you have to strap it to make sure that this thing doesn't move around, but that's pretty much it. So now you have more space in there, but then you kind of get rid of this space over here. And there you go. Look at that. Now you have only 7 seats, and you have more seat in the middle. You have more space in the middle. Now that removal for the middle seat here, it's also available in the Acura MDX. So it is something that Honda invented, I would say. I don't know any other company that uses similar design, unless it's the Nissan, but it's not a real seat, it's just cup holders. Now we have more space in here. Tech features. We have heated seats in the back. There is 115 volts charge in the center over here. There is 2 USB ports. There is a climate unit. This is a single zone, of course. And we have a beautiful panoramic roof with this. In terms of space, it's nice and comfortable, but here's what I love the most about these. Here's what I love the most about this car that I realized when I sat in the back. Besides the amount of cup holders, which I believe this has about 17 or 18 in total, which is insane. So we got 2, 4, we got a bunch over here. There's more in the front. There's cup holders everywhere, so you'll be saved if you have children. There's more spots. So we got a little pocket over here behind the seats for both the driver's seats and the passenger seat over here. And then there is more over here where you can slide your tablet. So let's just say you're going for a long trip and you don't know where to put your tablet. You could probably just slide it right in here. That should fit maybe a 9-inch or 10-inch tablet easily. So that way you don't have to buy a bracket to install your tablet. We also have sunshades for both sides in the second row. Now, let's jump into the driver's cockpit and the front area, talk about what do we get with this one and how much better is it? Okay, first of all, we have a new interior. It is a bit similar to the Civic, the new Civic, that similar design, mostly like the climate area, the buttons, but it's not exactly the same. The screen might be the same, but let's do this first. Let's start it up. Typical Honda chimes. Here we go. What do we have in here? First of all, we have a new digital cluster, full digital cluster with some analog on the left and the right side. We have a heads-up display now, crisper, sharp, I like that. Screen, you can get a 7-inch or a 9-inch. The one that we have for today's video is the 9-inch, I believe. Then you can get a smaller one with a different package. This is nice, it's very similar to the Civic, but the disappointing part is that this is not the same size as the one in the Accord. I love the one in the Accord. It was easy to use and it was much bigger. But you do get some buttons onto the side here. You can control it. It is mostly touchscreen, easy to use. The center here, we have the climate unit. We have heated seats, ventilated seats, dual climate zone. You can also control the rear climate unit through this side in case if you have kids playing around. There's a USB and a USB-C port. There's this part over here that you can put your coins or maybe your key fob, my phone as well. Okay, so my phone fits in. Perfect. So let's just say one is charging. Where do you put the other one? Over here. We have 2 more cup holders in the side. In the center, this is very similar to other Hondas. I think it reminds me of the same design for that 10-speed Accord. You have the button here that says Drive, Sport. And in the middle over here, we have your parking brake, brake hold. The downhill assist is offered across all the Honda Pilots. The driving modes, we have Sport, you got normal, eco, snow, trail, sand, and tow. So you got a bunch of different driving modes. The next thing I want to talk about is the infotainment display. Let's get into the details. The infotainment display is, of course, touchscreen, so easy to use. What I do like about this, the fact that they finally are including a 360 camera. There's different modes for the camera. You have even for tow as well, and you can change the brightness. There's a lot of things you can play around, but you have this bird's eye view, which again, it is 2023. It is important to have tech features like that. We have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Currently, we have the Android Auto connected wirelessly. In comparison to the Accord, this doesn't have that Google built-in assistant, which is a bit disappointing, I have to say. There's also cabin talk, which is something that, well, the Kia introduced it first, where basically if you have passengers into the third row, you don't have to raise your voice because you can turn this on and the microphone picks up your voice from here and then transmits all the way to the back, which is a nice feature to have. Then move on to the side over here. We have Wi-Fi and hotspots. There's a few settings. There's also this USB here. It'll give you an idea of where you're connected, I'm assuming. No device connected right now. We have Bluetooth audio. You got all the apps. Not the biggest fan of this system, I have to say. There's multi-view for the camera in case if you want to look around, if you're going a bit of an off-road or if you're stuck somewhere, you want to know what's in front of you or around it. I like that. That's a nice touch. I just think there could have been added a few more features in here, especially with vehicles like the new Kia Telluride, which has like a bigger screen. The infotainment layout is a bit different, a bit more luxurious, a bit more fancy, a few extra features that you find in the Kia Telluride. The cabin talk is nice, added feature in here, but I would say a few more tech features would have made a difference in comparison to the Kia Telluride or the Hyundai Palisade. Launch control in sport mode, sport transmission, pedal to the metal. .5 liter V6 naturally aspirated makes 285 brake horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. 24-valve V6. Now this V6 is not really new. It's the same as the previous gen. In fact, it's the same used across other platforms. And Honda says that this is tuned differently. Of course, it makes more horsepower, and it's apparently the most powerful Pilot ever made. It can tow up to 5,000 pounds. It has the lectest technology for the all-wheel drive, all-wheel vectoring all-wheel drive. It's called the IVT M4 torque vectoring all-wheel drive system that improves the off-road capability. The suspension system, Honda says, it's also retuned, and as we say that there's another Pilot that just passing by. That's interesting. That is an ugly Pilot. This is not. This is the second one I've seen today as I'm test driving the new Pilot. Here's what I love about this, besides the specs. The price is very competitive in Canada and in the US. It is very spacious on the inside, very, very spacious. In comparison to the Kia Telluride, this thing feels like 30% bigger. It gets about 113.5.6 cubic feet of space with all the 3 rows down, which is impressive. I believe the Kia Telluride is about 89.9 cubic feet of space. It feels very high off the ground in comparison to the Kia Telluride and also the previous gen. The interior, of course, massive upgrade here. I do, however, not appreciate the fact that we don't get that beautiful screen that the Accord gets, because in an SUV this size, you want to have the bigger screen. This is small. You want something bigger because you have other passengers in the back and, of course, the passenger on the side here. The driver assistant package, of course, it's the latest technology with lane assist, gap assist, forward collision warning. We got blind spot assist as well. Another thing I love about this visor at the top, that it comes very handy for the second row and the third row. So you can look from here and it's like, okay, kids are good. They're falling asleep over there. That's nice. The armrest in the center is huge. Like, I could probably fit, I don't know, let's see. Yeah, can definitely fit this and 2 more. The steering is very light, very agile as well. The ride is soft. The 20-inch wheels do a great job in here. The engine is responsive. The 10-speed automatic transmission with sport mode and paddle shifters, it's nice. It's better than having a CVT, that's for sure. I like the space in here. I feel comfortable. This thing is really enjoyable. It's quiet on the road too. You don't hear the road noise as much. Visibility is great. The rear windshield is massive. Even just looking this way, even the third window on the side is huge, especially for the third row passengers. You can tilt the second row to a different position. The recliner itself, if you wanted to have it a bit back, you can do that. You can also move it back and forth. For me, there's only one thing that I have to say. There is no hybrid. That is a bit disappointing. I expected Honda to offer a hybrid since there is a hybrid for the CR-V. Would have been nice to add a hybrid for this. People like hybrids. They like the fuel efficiency. This is a family SUV. It's nice that it tows quite a lot. It pulls hard too. At about 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, that torque kicks in. I like this. I like what they've done. There's just a few things that I can complain about it. Would I get this over the Kia Telluride? Yes. Hear me out. Yes, the Kia Telluride will offer you more features, some extra features, in fact. Some people might like the design of that, but the space you get in here, it's very impressive, and you appreciate that when you have kids or when you have stuff that you need to carry around. That will make a huge difference. If you want to go to the cottage, you get more space behind the third row, you get more space overall. That is a huge plus. I had my own little complaints about it, but other than that, this generation is going to sell pretty hot. I'm impressed, and I love the fact that we don't have a CVT in here.